and welcome to AFM 451. This video builds directly on our discussion of cognitive biases by explaining how professional judgment is shaped by two cognitive systems, System 1 and System 2 thinking. Now, as we know, auditing is fundamentally a judgment discipline. Standards provide structure, evidence provides input, but conclusions depend on how we process information. Cognitive biases arise because of how our brain operates. To manage bias, we must understand the architecture of judgment itself. Daniel Kahneman describes two interacting models of thought, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, unconscious, automatic, and intuitive. It operates with little to no effort. It relies on pattern recognition, previous experience, mental shortcuts, etc. It's a system that immediately flags something as unusual, recognizes a familiar control structure, or senses that a ratio looks off. In everyday audit decisions, routine walkthroughs, standard confirmations, various expectations, etc., System 1 is efficient and quite often accurate. However, the same features that make System 1 efficient also make it error-prone. It is highly susceptible to confirmation bias, anchoring bias, and of course overconfidence. If the previous year file indicates low risk, System 1 quickly reclassifies the client as low risk. If management's explanation sounds plausible, System 1 accepts it without a deeper analysis. Speed and effortlessness are strengths in stable environment, but weaknesses in complex or evolving or deceptive ones. On the other hand, System 2 is slow, conscious, deliberate, and effortful. It requires concentration. It requires analytical reasoning. It's tough. It's challenging. It is engaged when auditors calculate materiality thresholds, or design sampling plans, or evaluate complex estimates, or even assess fraud risk indicators. System 2 constructs arguments, evaluates alternatives, challenges initial impressions. Unlike System 1, System 2 is less vulnerable to cognitive shortcuts. It checks assumptions, asks for what could go wrong, and considers disconfirming evidence. It is therefore more reliable for complex, high-risk, or ambiguous audit judgments. Now, the interaction between the two systems explains much of the audit behavior. System 1 generates the initial narrative. System 2 has the capacity to review and override it. The problem is that System 2 is costly, demanding, time-consuming. It also takes up a lot of cognitive energy. In high-pressure audit environments, tight deadlines, budget constraints, hierarchical teams, there's a natural tendency to default to System 1. This default explains why cognitive biases persist even amongst the smartest and the most experienced professionals. Confirmation bias is in System 1 favoring coherence over contradiction. Anchoring is System 1 locking onto the first number encountered. Overconfidence reflects System 1's trust in pattern recognition. Motivated reasoning occurs when System 1 aligns its interpretation with incentives. Time pressures and hierarchy reduce the likelihood that System 2 intervenes. Consider revenue testing in a year of stable performance. System 1 sees consistent margin and clear analytical procedures. It concludes that revenue risk is moderate. Unless something explicitly triggers concern, System 2 may not activate deeply. Now consider the same audit in a year of economic volatility with new performance-based compensation structure. The risk profile changes. System 2 must engage deliberately, reassessing risks, challenging previous year assumptions, designing expanded procedures, etc. If the auditor fails to switch systems, risk increases. The key professional skill is not eliminating System 1. That is impossible. It's undesirable. Expertise depends on fast pattern recognition. The key is knowing when to slow down. Indicators that System 2 should be activated include unusual transactions, management override risks, significant estimates, evolving regulatory environments, conflicting evidence, fraud, etc. Professional skepticism is the mechanism that forces System 2 engagement. It interprets automatic acceptance and requires reasoned justification. Documentation requirements, consultation protocols, and mandatory fraud brainstormings are institutional tools designed to trigger System 2 thinking. Audit failure often reflects not ignoring the standards, but insufficient engagement of System 2 in the moment of elevated risks. Take care, stay safe, and bye for now.